If you're past 65 and you've been waking up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, wondering if a good night's sleep is just a memory, you're not alone. And here's something most doctors won't say out loud. The real reason so many seniors can't sleep through the night isn't just about bladder control or aches and pains. It's about one tiny shift in your evening routine that most of us completely overlook. I'm going to share exactly what that shift is and why, once you make it, your body naturally remembers how to drift off and stay asleep just like it used to. Because I met a gentleman named Frank. He's 78 years old. And after one simple change, he told me something that honestly gave me chills. He said, "For the first time in 14 years, I slept straight through to morning. I woke up and actually cried because I thought my body had forgotten how." So let's talk about what Frank did and how you can do it tonight. As we get older, sleep becomes this strange puzzle. You're exhausted by 8 p.m., you fall asleep in the recliner watching the news. But the moment your head hits the pillow at bedtime, your brain suddenly decides it's time to review every worry you've ever had. Many seniors don't realize that this isn't just a normal part of aging that we have to accept. Our sleep architecture changes after 60, yes, but so does our relationship with light, temperature, and something called sleep pressure. Without getting too technical, think of sleep pressure like an appetite. If you snack all afternoon, you won't be hungry for dinner. If you doze in short bursts throughout the day without realizing it, your body won't be hungry for deep sleep at night. Frank's problem wasn't that he couldn't sleep. His problem was that his brain had lost track of when nighttime actually began. The first thing we looked at wasn't his mattress or his medications. It was his 7 p.m. habit. Like a lot of folks his age, Frank would settle into his favorite chair after dinner, turn on a show, and let himself drift in that half-awake, half-asleep state for about 45 minutes. It felt harmless. In fact, it felt pretty good. But here's what was happening inside his body. That early evening, doze was releasing just enough melatonin to confuse his internal clock. By the time 10:30 rolled around, his brain thought it had already had its first sleep cycle. So when he got into bed, his system was fighting itself. One part was tired, the other part was wired. The fix wasn't to force himself to stay awake with caffeine or loud music. It was gentler than that. We moved his relaxation ritual to a brightly lit kitchen chair instead of his recliner. He'd sit upright at the table, do a crossword puzzle, or just chat with his wife for 20 minutes. That simple shift, staying vertical and keeping his eyes busy, stopped the accidental nap from stealing his nighttime sleep hunger. Now, let's talk about what happens when you actually go to bed, because this is where the second part of Frank's breakthrough came in. As we get older, our body temperature drops a little earlier in the evening than it used to. For a lot of seniors, that means they go to bed feeling chilly, pile on extra blankets, and then wake up 2 hours later absolutely roasting. That overheating triggers a wake-up signal in the brain. It's almost like an internal fire alarm. Frank had been sleeping in a warm room with heavy flannel sheets because he thought being cozy meant being warm. We tried something counterintuitive. We cooled the bedroom down to about 67 degrees and gave him a blanket that breathed a bit more. The goal wasn't to feel cold. It was to let his body's natural overnight temperature dip happen without interference. He resisted at first. He told me, "I'm going to freeze." But within 3 nights, his body adapted, and those 2 a.m. wake-ups started to disappear. There's also something incredibly powerful that happens when we stop checking the clock. I want you to imagine something with me. It's 3:17 a.m. You wake up, you glance at the glowing numbers on the nightstand, and immediately your brain starts doing math. If I fall asleep right now, I can still get 3 hours and 40 minutes before my appointment. That calculation is pure stress. And stress releases cortisol, which is like an alarm clock for your brain. The minute you do that math, you've lost. Frank started turning his clock around so it faced the wall. This one gesture told his brain, "We are not negotiating with sleep tonight. There is no scorecard." He told me that this tiny act of hiding the time felt like giving himself permission to just rest, even if he wasn't perfectly asleep. And ironically, that permission was what let him fall back asleep faster. Another silent sleep thief that many seniors don't consider is the timing of their water intake. Of course, staying hydrated is essential for everything from circulation to brain function. But Frank was doing what a lot of well-meaning folks do. He was trying to hit his daily water goal by chugging a big glass right before brushing his teeth. His kidneys, which also change with age, would then spend the first half of the night filtering all that fluid, forcing him to get up at least twice to use the bathroom. We didn't take away his water. We simply shifted it earlier. He now finishes most of his hydration by 6 p.m., sipping only small amounts if his mouth feels dry after that. This alone cut his bathroom trips from 2 or 3 down to maybe 1, sometimes none at all. And when you're not stumbling down a dark hallway at 2 in the morning, your brain stays in a deeper sleep stage longer. Let me share the unexpected bonus tip that truly sealed the deal for Frank. It sounds almost too simple, but it's backed by a lot of research on the aging brain. Every night, after he settles into bed, Frank now does something called mental alphabetical gratitude. Instead of counting sheep, he quietly goes through the alphabet and names something he's genuinely grateful for that starts with each letter. A for Alice, his wife. B for the blueberries on his oatmeal this morning. C for the cardinal that visited the feeder outside his window. This practice does 2 things. First, it occupies the wandering mind with positive, low-stakes thinking, which prevents anxious thoughts from taking over. Second, the feeling of gratitude has been shown to lower blood pressure and reduce that stress hormone cortisol we talked about. Frank told me he's never made it past the letter M before falling asleep. He's never finished the alphabet, and he hopes he never does. I hope you can see that sleeping through the night after 75 or even 85 isn't about finding some miracle supplement. It's about sending your brain and body the right signals at the right time. Stay out of the recliner after dinner, cool your bedroom down, turn the clock around, finish your water earlier, and give your mind something gentle and thankful to focus on as you drift off. These aren't rules meant to restrict your life. They're invitations to work with your body instead of against it. Frank is 78 years old, and he's waking up feeling so rested that he's back to walking his dog before breakfast. That's the kind of vibrant living we all deserve, at any age. If this gave you one new idea to try tonight, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more gentle, honest conversations about thriving in our later years, and share this with someone who might be staring at the ceiling tonight. They might just thank you in the morning. Now let's pick up right where we left off, because there's another layer to this that Frank discovered, and honestly, it surprised both of us. See, once Frank started sleeping through the night more consistently, something unexpected happened. His mood lifted, his patience grew, and his granddaughter told him he seemed lighter. But here's what really struck me. After about 3 weeks of solid rest, Frank noticed that his sugar cravings during the day had nearly vanished. He wasn't reaching for cookies at 3 p.m. anymore. And that's not a coincidence. When we don't sleep deeply, our body produces more of a hormone called ghrelin, which makes us hungry, and less leptin, which tells us we're full. For years, Frank thought he just had a sweet tooth he couldn't control. In reality, his exhausted brain was begging for quick energy to get through the afternoon. Once his sleep stabilized, so did his appetite. This is the quiet ripple effect of a good night's rest that nobody really talks about. There's also something delicate I want to address, because many seniors experience it but rarely bring it up. The anxiety of going to bed itself. After so many years of bad nights, the bedroom becomes a place of dread, not rest. Frank admitted that he'd start feeling tense the moment he walked toward his bedroom. His brain had associated that room with frustration, loneliness, and staring at the ceiling while the rest of the world slept. So we did a small but powerful exercise. We changed the room's purpose during the day. He started sitting on the edge of his bed for 5 minutes each afternoon, fully dressed, just reading a magazine or listening to a soft song. Nothing sleep-related, just peaceful wakefulness in that space. Over time, his brain stopped sounding the alarm when he entered the room at night. The bedroom became neutral ground again, not a battleground. And I want to pause here to say something directly to you, the person listening right now. If you've been struggling with sleep for years, it's easy to feel broken. It's easy to believe that this is just how life is now. But your body remembers how to sleep. It hasn't forgotten. It just needs the right conditions, the right signals, and a little patience. Frank was 78 years old and had given up hope. He thought his sleeping days were behind him. And now he's waking up before his alarm, feeling rested and genuinely excited about his morning coffee. That's not a miracle. That's just his body finally getting what it needed all along. Let me leave you with a gentle evening ritual to try tonight. About an hour before bed, dim the lights in your home just slightly. Not total darkness, just enough to signal to your brain that the day is winding down. Put your phone or tablet in another room, or at least across the bedroom where you can't reach it from your pillow. That little screen is beaming blue light directly into your eyes, which tells your brain it's still daytime. Make yourself a cup of chamomile tea or warm milk if that's comforting to you, and sit somewhere quiet with a book or some soft music. No news, no stressful conversations, no replaying the day's frustrations, just a gentle descent toward rest. When you climb into bed, try that gratitude alphabet we talked about. And remember, even if you don't fall asleep right away, simply resting quietly with your eyes closed is still deeply restorative for your body. The pressure to perform sleep is often what keeps it away. Frank told me something on the phone last week that I carry with me now. He said, "I used to measure my life by how many hours I slept. Now I measure it by how I feel when I wake up." And that, right there, is the whole point. It's not about the number on the clock. It's about the quality of your days and the energy you bring to the people who love you. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who might need a little hope tonight. We're building a community here of seniors who believe that our best years aren't behind us. They're still unfolding, one restful night at a time. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video.